New tonight, a group of former state Republican lawmakers has filed a legal challenge against the Georgia State Election Board. They are asserting the recent rule changes the board made violate the separation of powers.
Well, Fox 5's Eric Mock joins us now from the live desk to break down this legal challenge. Eric, those who filed this in court are former and current state lawmakers, as we said, Republicans objecting to what Republicans on the board are doing.
That's right, all of them Republicans, including former State Senate President Pro Tem Eric Johnson, who says they filed this amicus brief to stop the state election board from overstepping its bounds, despite some of the board members' support from former President Donald Trump.
They're supposed to implement laws, not make them.
That's what former Georgia Senate President Pro Tem and chair of Right Count Eric Johnson says the state elections board is doing. He and 8 other former and current Republican state lawmakers filed this 26-page brief challenging the legality of the rule changes the board made over the last 2 weeks.
They are making laws and have crossed a boundary of the division of government.
On September 20th, 3 conservative members of the board, Janelle King, Rick Jafaris, and Janice Johnston, voted to make several controversial rule changes to how elections have to be run, including requiring a hand count of all ballots at every precinct, a rule that state elections officials, including Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, said could create chaos and confusion on Election Day. Supporters of the rule changes say they make elections more secure and fair. Former President Donald Trump even praised the work the 3 board members were doing at a rally in Atlanta. But Johnson and these Republicans are breaking ranks with the Republican nominee on this issue. Johnson says he believes these changes will undermine people's confidence in Georgia's elections.
We're trying to convince people their vote counts. And every time they sort of start tweaking this thing like there's a problem they're trying to fix, it discourages people, particularly on the right, to vote.
Johnson says legally the election results have to be certified a week after polls close, and he worries the hand counting and other new rules could delay that certification.
If it's as close as polling shows, for a while, that may be going to trial in court. The Bush versus Gore scenario, America doesn't need that.
Now, I reached out to those 3 election board members, and I'm still waiting to hear back from them. Coming up at 11, though, why Johnson says former President Trump is sending mixed signals to his supporters by advocating for these rule changes. Reporting at the live desk, Eric Mock, Fox 5 News.
Eric, thanks.